We're back. Madden season has returned. This is episode 1 of the Awful podcast. Kind of formerly the commissioner's office, but it's not really going to be just me anymore. So probably get a new name of some kind. Later on, we're going to have Raider Red joining us. We're going to do an NFC preview, and the AFC preview will come in a later episode. But first and foremost, just wanted to say welcome as to kind of do a kickoff episode. To everybody. I think we had, in the end, once all the roster and team swapping and shuffling was complete, 27 or 28 returning members, and I think 28 returning members and 4 new folks. So we'll be going over kind of team by team analysis and some predictions for how the divisions are going to roll in the NFC today. But just want to thank everybody for your interest. If you're returning, you kind of know the drill. Obviously, we try to find ways to tweak and make it a little bit better every year, but it won't be anything drastically different. The expectation here, just like last cycle, is we're going to play through 7 full seasons. That includes seasons 2, 4, and 6, simulated seasons. So, really want to see people last the whole cycle. You're not kicked out forever if you don't, but certainly we'll know that you're not a full cycle guy. May affect your team spot in future Maddens. And yeah, everything else, the rules are not a whole lot different. To kind of went over some of the rule page on Operation Sports. If you guys have a moment, just please kind of review it. Nothing major's changed. If there's anything major changes, we'll kind of let you guys know. But it's going to be a fun cycle. I'm really, really optimistic about Madden this year. As some of you guys know, kind of working through some of the slider settings, trying to figure out what's going to be the most realistic gameplay. Definitely considering going back to All Pro. So we'll see kind of how that goes, if we think we can make defense viable enough on All Pro. But we'll definitely have some of the realistic and difficult offense that you're used to playing in this league. So without further ado, we're going to introduce, say hello to Raider. I think he's on the line. Raider, are you there, buddy?
Yeah, man, I'm here.
All right. How's it going, man?
Oh, it's going.
I hear you. Well, it's been a while since we've had you on for one of these. So a formal welcome back. I'm excited. I think you said you don't have a Raider rant lined up for today like normal, but that might be coming down the pipe as well. But let's dive into the NFC, since obviously you're an AFC team this year on the Chiefs. I figure it'd be a good chance to kind of give a couple of guys giving an unbiased preview of how we see the NFC going. First off, question for you: which do you see as the tougher conference this year?
Man, I gotta say the tougher conference to me seems to like the AFC. Not just because I'm in it, but you got me. I mean, the whole AFC West is loaded. Hounds is over, and he's got the Titans, and there's a good squad. I just think most of the top users. I really think Keller seems super interested this year. So I really think Keller's gonna come back, and he's gonna be really good. So I just see a lot of top tier talent just stacked in the AFC, and the NFC's got like Saran and Greatness, and that's pretty much it.
And man, I'm gonna put out some sleepers for you that you may have missed in the latter half of M17. But that said, I do agree with your overall consensus. AFC is almost always better, just how it is. NFC guys. But so let's go. Let's first tackle a division that's near and dear to your heart, the NFC East. We got Saran Wrap on the Cowboys. We got Tough Dog, who was our Bears guy in 17. He's on the Giants. We got Taj Supreme, who was the Seahawks in 17. He's now on the Eagles. He's a fan of the Eagles, fan guy. Zcar has moved from the 49ers in Madden 17. Now he's on the Redskins in Madden 18. What are your initial impressions of this division?
Well, admittedly, I don't know a lot about Tough Dog and Taj Supreme, so I'm sort of going off what I know, but I still think the Cowboys run that division. I think Saran's one of the best users we've got, and his user linebacker skills are just nuts, and that Cowboys team is absolutely loaded. You can call it Cowboys bias, you can call it the team's that good, just whatever you want to say. I think right behind him will be Zcar. I mean, maybe if he wasn't shopping Kirk Cousins, I'd be a little more interested in picking him to take the division, but I'm not sure what he's got going on over there in Washington. I don't know enough about the other two to really say.
Yeah, I'll definitely agree with Saran. As right now, it looks to be the class of the division. Like you said, it doesn't really matter why the Cowboys are good. At the end of the day, they're probably the second most talented team in Madden behind the Patriots. So you have Saren, who's already one of the best users in the league on one of the top 2 teams. It doesn't take a rocket science to figure out how that's going to go. So he's definitely going to be the class of the division on paper. It's going to be really, really close after that. Taj Supreme really did some good stuff on the Seahawks in Madden 17. He came in kind of in the second half of the cycle, turned the team around, made the playoffs one cycle, which for anyone that played here in Madden 17, that's no small feat to make the playoffs. So he is a guy that can, if he's interested, and I'm going to be upfront, he's been kind of iffy about Madden 18 so far. So if he's interested, he's going to be right in that playoff hunt. Tough Dog was on the Bears, and he actually ended up being a pretty tough out for Big K and Husker back in Madden 17. So I see him actually doing pretty well as well. I don't know if he's going to be a playoff team season 1, but the Giants are kind of an underrated team coming into Madden 18. I could see him doing well. And Z-Car is starting with a much better team than he had in 17. He kind of rebuilt the 49ers, had one of the most exciting ends to a Super Bowl in season, I think 6 it was, in awful history. And I definitely see all 3 of those guys being clumped together, which means I could see that order changing, season to season. Whoever comes in 4th in that division season 1, if they stick with it and have a strong back-to-back off season, like the skill gap is very slim in the NFC East after Saren. But all 3 of those guys have a lot to prove to get on Saren's level, in my opinion. All right, moving on.
Yeah,
NFC North. Sorry, I totally cut you off.
Oh, you're fine. I was just saying I agree with you.
Yep. NFC North. All right, so we got Isaiah S.G. on the Bears. He kind of split time between the Chargers and the Giants in 17. We got one of our first new guys, Heel Green Ranger. He's played in a number of other leagues. He's not new to leagues, but he's new to us. He's on the Lions. And, of course, returning, one of the most long-standing rivalries in our group's history. We got Husker on the Packers and Big K on the Vikings. What are your thoughts?
Man, I'm gonna have to go with my boy Husker here. He's the class of that division. Him and Big K duke it out, so I'm sure they'll trade off back and forth. But by the end of it, I think the person hanging more division banners is going to be the Packers. I've always had good fights with Husker in games, and he's tough. And Big K's really tough too. He always plays me tough. Unfortunately, Heel's new, and I don't know enough about Isaiah S.G., so I'm not trying to discount those 2 guys. Maybe you'll have a little more insight than me, but I still think the guy to beat in the NFC North is going to be Husker.
Yeah, I think season 1 is definitely going to come down to Husker and Big K. I think almost every user season last cycle, it came down to week 17 between them, which is crazy. But actually, that's not true. One season, Big K just unleashed a 15-1 season on the league, just kind of out of nowhere. But every other season, it was down to the wire. I think at the end of the day, after 7 seasons, Husker is going to have the most division under his belt. Although I got to say, I think Isaiah S.G. by maybe season 3, and certainly by season 5 is going to be right there. And the only reason I say he's a step behind is because right now the Bears are just don't have the talent level in season 1. But Isaiah S.G. is every bit on the level of Husker and Big K, I think, as a player. He actually took me out, I think, season 7 of Madden 17 when he was on the Giants. So he's a very good player. HDR, new guy, and he's on, probably the 3rd most talented team, but on the Lions, but there's still a step back for Packers and Vikings. So I think HGR, being the new guy, it's hard to say how he stacks up, but I think Isaiah, Husker, and Big K, once Isaiah gets the Bears up in talent level, the 3 of them are going to be duking it out. It's going to be a brutal division, very much like it was, I think, in Madden 17 when I know you kind of missed the second half of that, but Weapon X ended up really catching up to their level and ended up winning the division one year. And it was just like a 3-man race. It was just crazy. And if HGR is a pretty good player too, that could be some crazy divisional races by season, let's say 5 at the latest, and maybe even season 3. NFC South. This is going to be, I'm going to go first because I'm going to give you some insight, and then I'm going to turn it over to you. Everyone knows greatness. He's won a Super Bowl. He's made it to the Super Bowl in season 1 the past 2 cycles. And the Falcons are as stacked as ever. So he's certainly going to be, if not he and Saren will probably be considered league-wide to be the 2 biggest favorites. Imlet's a new guy on the Saints, so we don't really know how he's going to stack up, but he's a league vet, so I wouldn't be surprised to see him make some noise. We all know Ryan. He can take someone out on any given week. He's going to kind of prove it to show that he can put together a full season and compete with someone like greatness. The ringer here is Prines. For those who haven't played him, he's a very, very good player. This is kind of the first time that Greatness has had to deal with a really big time user in his division since Saren, and I don't even think Saren was quite on the level as he is now when he was in the NFC South. So how are you seeing that one kind of shake out?
Man, the NFC South is going to run through Atlanta. Prines, you say he's a good user, so again, I don't
I
have
think he
enough
is a
reference
tier
on.
0 user, legitimately, or he will be.
Well, hopefully, there can be some shakeup in that division, but I just have a hard time rooting against Greatness. The guy always beats me every time I play him, and he competes every year, and really the only guy I've seen beat him consistently is Saran. So I think that division's going to run through Atlanta. I really think Ryan has the talent and the skill to win that division and beat Greatness. It's just is he going to be able to sustain that over a whole year? What are we going to see? Ryan's a really good user when he
doesn't.
I guess when he gets good breaks. It seems like sometimes he catches bad breaks. So
yeah,
I have a hard time picking against Atlanta.
It'll be interesting to see like Matt Ryan and Drew Brees in that division now that quarterbacks, don't retire quite as early in Madden 18. If we see like both Ryan and Brees lasting most of the cycle, or if those guys end up shipping out, all-time quarterbacks maybe a couple seasons too early.
Yeah, that's a real wild card. I think Matt Ryan will be around. I think Drew Brees is going to retire, but who knows with the way they change things. So
I think here's my, again, I don't even consider this to be too bold. So season 1, I'm still gonna we'll do predictions at the end, but season 1, I still think Greatness is the team to beat in the division. However, I think Prines is just as good of a player, or he has the potential to be just as good of a player. He definitely showed he could do that at the end of Madden 17. But the Falcons are a more talented team than the Bucs season 1, so that might be my tiebreaker. But my prediction is at some point in the cycle, Prines will win. Let's say I think he's going to win at least 2 division titles out of 7 seasons. That's across user and sim years. So
that's a fire team.
Yep. All right, and that's like I said, at least 2. I don't even really know, but I say out of the 7 years, he wins at least 2. NFC West. Here's another one that's probably gonna be tough for you to weigh in on. Other than Weapon X, we have Mike Lowe is a new guy, but he's very much a veteran of Operation Sports. Kind of connected with him as he was looking to get kind of a very realism slider league together, and we kind of realized, hey, we're kind of going after the same thing, and we already have the group ready to go. So let's combine forces. So he's on board with the Seahawks. He has self-described himself as a decent but not particularly great player. But it's always hard to know. Maybe he is just not a cocky guy and is a pretty good player. Or maybe he'll struggle a little bit initially. It's hard to say. Art Kolar is another one of my dark horse picks to be like he's going to be, in my opinion, the strongest player out of the gates in the NFC West. He did really well with a terrible, I want to say it was 49ers team in Madden 17. He took over way late in the cycle. It wasn't 49ers. Who was it? For kind of forgetting, but he did well with them. So I think he's a very good player, and if he gets used to the league a little bit more, he could really make some noise. Acer, really have no idea. I know he's beaten a couple guys in head-to-heads in this pre-file, just people playing around. So he's obviously got some talent. So we'll have to see. His team's not there with the 49ers. And then Weapon X, he was the Lions. He turned that team from, he was 4th in the division. He seemed to step behind in season 1, and then by seasons 5 and 7, he was neck and neck. He was beating division mates Big K and Husker. He won the division in season 7 over both Big K and Husker with the Lions. He's a good player. He's really acclimated to the league well, and now he's on his hometown fan Rams team, who just traded for Sammy Watkins.
Yeah, that was a big trade too.
Yeah, do you think Sammy's going to be a cycle-long super stud? Or do you see him being like a Julio Jones caliber receiver in Madden?
Oh no, there's no way. Julio Jones is a freak of nature. I don't see him being that level, but I definitely think he'll elevate that Rams team. That, and Rams got Cooper Kupp in the draft, so.
Is Goff good enough in Madden that Weapon X could develop him, and can he be a franchise quarterback in Madden, regardless of what one thinks about him in real life?
I think in Madden, Goff has the tools. You know, I haven't looked at his rating this year, but last year he had the tools to be, you know, a starting caliber quarterback as a rookie. So I don't figure he's fallen off too far because he had a small sample size. But
Yeah, I'm
this,
kind of looking
this
at him
division,
now. He's throw power 92. He's got like accuracy the equivalent of like most of the first rounder rookies, and he's only 22 still years old. So yeah, you're right. He's and acceleration 86. Like he got some mobility back there. Yeah, he's definitely got what it takes to be a cycle long franchise quarterback. What I'm curious to see, because what Weapon X did with the Lions is he took a pretty good defensive line to start, and when he drafted, that guy just drafts defensive linemen. I think he had 4 linemen along the defensive line by season 5 or 7 that were 99 block shed. Like he just developed the most beastly run stuffing defensive line in the game last cycle. So I'll be very curious to see what he does with that Rams team and inheriting, Aaron Donald and already a pretty strong front 7.
Oh yeah, Aaron Donald's a wrecking ball. He destroyed a game plan by himself.
All right, so we're gonna wrap this up. Try to have more frequent podcasts this year, but keep them from not stretching 40 minutes long. Let's gonna go over our picks for the winners of each division, and then at the end we'll pick wild cards. All right, NFC East, who you got?
Cowboys.
Yep, Cowboys. Agreed. And this is season 1 only. So NFC North.
NFC North, I'm going Packers.
I will go Packers, but man, it's gonna be close between him and Big K, I think, as it always is. NFC South.
NFC South is going to be the Falcons. Easy.
Yeah, and for me, this was not easy at all. Like I said, I really think that it's close. However, I think the Falcons, kind of the tiebreaker talent on paper, I'm going with the Falcons. So far, we're agreeing 3 for 3. NFC West.
Man, NFC West, since I don't know the users, I'm going to guess off roster here, and I think the Cardinals have the strongest roster, so I'm going to go Cardinals.
Yeah, I'm going Cards too, and that's less about roster because I think Seahawks might even have a slightly stronger roster this year. I'm not even sure. Cardinals last year were just like the best team in the league, basically, but I assume that they've knocked off some stuff this year after they struggled in the NFL. But nonetheless, I'm going to go with what I know about user skill. I think Arcolar by a small gap is the strongest user there. Who are your wildcard teams in the NFC?
Oh, man, I'm going to say Z-Car and the Redskins are going to be a wild card team, and my second is going to have to be Big K and the Vikings.
All right, so finally we disagree on something. I will take Big K. I think it's going to be really, really close between Big K. If Taj Supreme is interested, I think he's going to be in the mix. I'm going with Big K, and I'm going with Prines. Prines is definitely my second pick there. All right, so we got Saren Rapp, we got Husker, Big K. You got Z-Car, I got Prines. We both got Greatness and Arcolar. So it'd be interesting. Who do you think's coming out? Well, I'm not even gonna ask for a Super Bowl winner yet at this point, but who's coming out of the NFC season 1?
Oh man, I'm gonna go with the Cowboys and Saran. That's my boy. So
I think I'm gonna go Cowboys as well, man. I think it's tough for Greatness to make it to 3 straight season 1 Super Bowls. So I'm just gonna play the odds on that one, and then I look down the list and I think Saren's the next best contender. So I'm going Saren. So there you go, man. All the pressure is on your shoulders. That's what happens when you get the Cowboys and you're a good user. Enjoy it or crumble. All right, man. Do you have anything, any parting thoughts on the NFC before we wrap it up? And later this week we'll do an AFC preview.
I mean, we all know the NFC's not winning the Super Bowl. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, I mean, NFC doesn't really often win season 1. So. Or I mean, I think last year the first few Super Bowls were AFC, and then it suddenly reversed and NFC won the back half. But so we'll see how that goes. All right, man. Thanks for joining. Thanks for giving your input, and good luck this cycle to you.
Yeah, man. Thanks for having me.
All right. See ya.
Later.